All right. Yeah, I think we are live in
Yeah.
the color.
Grand Rising, Grand Rising.
Grand Rising to you.
So today we're going to get right into it, right? So last week, we talked about, oh my gosh, we talked about a lot last week, but you know what stuck out in my head?
Did.
You
It
know
was a
what
good
stuck out in my
conversation.
head was we were talking about the labels, right? Like the ingredient labels and what the sections of them, what's in it, the added sugars, right? So today we're going to actually look at the ingredients, right? And so today we're going to be talking about some of the banned ingredients that are banned in other countries, but for whatever reason, we consume them every single day in the United States. It's like when you do this research, when you look at them and you look at the articles, like the published data, right? And these really good journals, right? The reputable journals. And you're like, well, how is it that we are still able to eat these things? Like, how is it safe? How is it unsafe for one population of people, but it is safe for another population of people? And it's the same.
Because it ain't safe. It ain't safe. It ain't safe. It ain't safe. It ain't safe.
Make it make.
But it makes money though.
Yes. That's what it is, right? So the United States, as you know, has very loose restrictions when it comes to like food processing, food manufacturing. And I say manufacturing because even the grown food, there's manufacturing in that process, right? With the seeds and the pesticides and the stuff that we use to grow our food. So there is manufacturing all around. So the United States is probably one of the most loose countries when it comes to regulation, right? So you have the FDA, they do the labeling in junction with the USDA, right? So there are our standards for safe are not as strict as other countries. And so as a result, there's some foods that we use or ingredients that we incorporate into our foods that other countries say absolutely not. Like we're not going to let our people consume these foods, right? So there's so much data out there. But when I dug deep, I'm going to get into it. But when I dug into because I have access to in my profession, I have access to these articles, right? So you can see the data. You can see where they extrapolated that one section to say, oh, well, in 0.02%, blah, 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 right? That's why they were able to use it because whatever. But when you look at the entire graph and you look at the entire time frame, you're like, well, if you follow that line a little bit further, you can see that at X amount of years or X amount of exposure, that risk significantly jumps, right? But when you're promoting these things and when you are trying to say, okay, well, this is okay, this is generally safe if it's consumed in small amounts. Well, small amounts over an extended amount of time adds up. That's why other countries have said absolutely not, because instead of looking at this small window of data or this, one time frame, they go a little bit further, right? Because if the study is done over a 12-year period and after year one, it showed no significant risk, okay, some countries will say, oh, okay, it's fine. After 1 year, it's fine. But other countries say, oh, okay, yeah, at year one, it's okay. Year two, it's okay. Year three, it starts to get iffy. Year four, I see a jump, right? So they're doing.
Yeah, because once we start eating stuff, like you like it, you're going to continue to eat it for years and years and years down the line. So, wow.
If it tastes good, we're going to eat it, right?
If it tastes good, we're going to eat it. Exactly. That's right.
So we're going to eat it. So today we're going to look at 4 ingredients that we in the United States consume almost every single day, but are banned in other countries. And the very first one is called brominated vegetable oil. So you might see it abbreviated as BVO, right? And so brominated, part of that is bromine. And if you remember chemistry, bromine is on the periodic table of elements. It's part of the halide group. So it's all the way over here with like the chlorine, the fluorine, right? So it's all the way over here, right? So if you remember chemistry, you should already know maybe that's a reactive species. Maybe we shouldn't be consuming it, but okay, we'll get a little bit into it, right? So bromine in itself has a lot of uses, right? So some of them, it's used in pesticides, bromine, right? The main chemical in the brominated vegetable oil. Bromine is in pesticides, and that is in the form of methyl bromide, right? You can use it when you manufacture keyboards, upholstery, plastics. They all use bromine, right? Fire retardants for carpets. You know how carpets have to have some chemicals in it to make it so they're less flammable or fire retardant? Well, the chemical they use for that is called polybromo diethyl ether. So the polybromo is the bromine portion of that, right? And guess what? Guess where else bromine is found? Take a guess.
I don't know. Take a guess. I don't know. Rubber in my tires? Where?
I don't know about that, but it's in our food, right? So
obviously, right. Yeah, you started off with that. Okay, that was a trick question.
We use it for, let's see, we use it for upholstery. We use it to manufacture plastic. We use it as a fire retardant, and we use it in our food. So why not, right? Why not? So it's actually found in soft drinks, right? So citrus flavored juices.
I was gonna say Coca-Cola. You know what? Like, I gotta start going with my gut, because you ask these questions and I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, and I'm like, I should say it, but I don't say it. I almost said, is it Coca-Cola?
Just go with your gut. It's mainly used in soft drinks. So they used to be found in Gatorade, but there was this whole uproar about it. So Gatorade, they since removed it, but I haven't done my extra research to see if that's for sure. But it's still in Mountain Dew. That Fresca soda. It's like
yeah.
Right. And so it's supposed to preserve the citrus flavor. But let's look at the bromine, right? And let's look at why some other countries ban it. So in our body, bromine competes with iodine. And iodine is what our thyroid, right? Okay. So iodine.
The hormone regulation.
Yes, right. So when the bromine is in our body, it's competing with the iodine at its receptor site, right? And so then your thyroid gland is saying, oh, well, okay, well, I already am bonding with something, but it's not the iodine that it's bonding with. And so as a result, you have a lower, it's not functioning properly, right? It's deregulated because it's thinking I have enough iodine on my receptors, so now I can do what I need to do. But iodine is
like a reason for like hypothyroidism, for example.
Yes. Because it's competing, right? And so now you're not your thyroid hormone is not as underregulated. I think underactive. It's underactive. That's the word I was looking for. It's underactive, right? And so you have these imbalances where your body thinks it has iodine, but it really doesn't, right? So that's one thing it does. But bromine by itself is actually toxic to our tissues, right? Regardless of how it's, if it's binding to the receptor site, there's still some that are not binding to the receptor site that are flowing through your bloodstream, through your gut, and and those species on their own are reactive to your tissue, right? And so some of the things that bromine has been linked to when it's been consumed by humans are memory loss, skin irritation in the form of nodular acne rashes, dryness, itching, headaches, impaired balance, right? And so when you think of all of these things, when you take the data and you extrapolate the data over a longer period of time, there are countries like, India, Japan, and all of Europe has banned BVO. They cannot use it in any of their makings of their food, right? So that's BVO is one ingredient that we use every single day. Did I tell you what it was found in? The soft drinks, right?
No, but you said that it was found in Gatorade, but that was an uproar about it, so it's no longer there. You said that it's currently still in Mountain Dew. It's in Fresca.
Yeah. So anything, basically, if you think of a soft drink that has citrus flavor, it probably more than likely has the BVO in it.
Okay. But really it's only in soft drinks. So like when we're looking at labels, we should be looking, does it have BVO or what is it? The long form of it, I don't want to mess it up.
Brominated vegetable oil.
Brominated vegetable oil.
I'll put it in. Yeah, okay. Because some other ones.
Yep, because we want to know, what are we looking for? Because I think, there's a lot that you mentioned in there that none of us want to have any parts of.
Yeah, like when you that it's messing with your freaking thyroid hormone, right?
A mess. And everybody's hormones are all out of whack, and I do a lot of hormone balancing with food and nutrition and all of that stuff and sleep cycles and all of that, is important to me. So having this added piece of it, I mean, it's so critical to understand, I think.
Yeah, well, it is because, they say like our food is making us sick. And the more you dig into it, right, you're thinking, oh, well, they have agencies that are meant to protect us. But behind these agencies, there's a lot of dollars, lobbying dollars, right? There's a lot of people that have influence that are like, okay, yeah, well, just assume that the average person isn't consuming this much. And if you just make that assumption, or you just, so yeah. It is a little scary, but the more the better you can do, right? The better choices you can make. And so BVO is just one thing. I mean, we're not soda drinkers in this house, so that wasn't one that I was really looking at. But
I drink ginger ale now. I drink ginger ale. Is it in ginger ale?
You're gonna have to look.
I'm gonna have to look.
That's our action step.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna look right now while you start talking about the next thing. I'm about to look right now because I need to know.
The next thing is it's also bromine, right? But it's in the form of potassium brominate, right? So it still has bromine, still has those same effects as the brominated vegetable oil. But this one is used in flour. It's in flour and baking goods. Yes, it's called potassium bromate.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Wait,
oh no.
It's just a different, it's
not in my baking goods. Oh man.
Flour. It's in the flour. So
it's in all the flour or just the white flour, the all-purpose flour?
You gotta look. You gonna have to look.
I can't. I'm about to get off of this.
That's our action step. Our action step is to look at 5 ingredients within our house and look to see if you see any one of these, right? So we already have our citric drinks. Now we have flour and baked goods, including breads, right? So So let me just tell you. So this form of the bromine, the potassium bromate, or bromate, I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly. But this one, according to the environmental health perspectives, it has been found to cause cancer in rodents, right? Oh. So they were feeding this chemical to rodents, and it's a carcinogen. But this is how they get around this. It's also been shown to be nephrotoxic in humans. Nephrotoxic means it's bad for your kidneys. It is bad. It damages your kidneys. And that's in humans, not rodents, in humans. And it's the same study that found that it was carcinogen in rodents, found that it was nephrotoxic in humans. So as a result, that ingredient cannot be used in China, cannot be used in Canada, and it cannot be used in any one of the countries that make up the European Union. All of those countries have decided, based on this research, and there's a lot of research out there, we're not allowing these ingredients to be used in the manufacturing of any of the products that we sell to the people in this country. It gets better.
They shouldn't, and they should not. And thank God, right, that we have these conversations, because we can let people know as we're educating ourselves, and as we can also let other people know in this part of the world that, we can take the reins, so to speak, of our own health when it comes to food and nutrition. So, oh, man,
it's scary.
Me angry. This is making me upset a little bit. Like
number 4, I'm gonna end with a good one. Number 4 is a really good one, but the next one is Olestra. The brand name of it is Olean, Olean. That's the brand name of it. And that one, it's more of like, it causes GI upset, but it's used as a fat replacement. So if you see something that is cholesterol free, fat free, calorie free, they use the olestra or olein as a fat substitute, right? And so
that one I definitely have seen before.
Yeah, it's mainly in chips. You will mainly see that in chips, like the light version. So I looked, it's in Lay's, Doritos, Pringles, Ruffles, Tostitos, in all the light forms. So if it could be like baked Lay's light, light Pringles, sour cream and onion, or, you know, every formulation of those products that has LITE, the light form of it, it has that ingredient in it because that's what it uses as a fat substitute. So it's not something that our body is able to digest or absorb. And so what happens is you just got this fat substitute in your body. Your body doesn't know what to do with it. And so it messes with your GI tract and it causes you, let me just say, it causes you to have GI upset, right?
Little IBS, little.
Yeah, like, you know, you'll get cramping, you get loose stools, you know, stuff like that.
Because we get the picture. All the things we don't want.
Yeah, that's what happens, right? And so as a result, that particular ingredient has been banned in the European Union and Canada. They cannot use that as a fat substitute for any of their products because they're like, yeah, this is probably not something that we want our people to experience. And who knows what the long-term effects of constantly having GI upset from eating this products or products that contain this ingredient. So they said, we're not doing that. Oh, but this one here.
Oh, should I hold on to my seat now?
This one here is actually a combination, right? So there's two structures, right? So you have the butylated hydroxyanisole, which is BHA. Then you also have butylated hydroxytoluene, which is BHT, right? They're both synthetic antioxidants is what they consider. That's the class that they use them as. They're also used in cosmetics and they're found in our foods as a preservative, right? And so the function, if you see something has BHA or BHT, that function is as a preservative. And what it's supposed to do is it keeps the fats in that product fresher longer. So it's
what happens when it gets into my body though.
You don't want to know what you don't want to know what it's in first before I tell you the health.
Yeah, what is it in?
So it's in meat, it's in cereal, it's in chips, it's in butter, it's in beer. That's the BHA, right? BHT is found in meat, baked snacks, gum, and dehydrated foods, right? And so when I looked at the baked snacks, guess what two cereals have it in there? One has a Captain Crunch.
Oh, Captain Crunch.
Apple Jacks.
Really?
Oh. And because I'm not immune.
What about Honey Grams?
You're gonna have to look that up. Let me just say I have a special special cereal, Special J, right? And I said, you know what? This is usually a pretty healthy, right? 11 vitamin and minerals, 13 grams of protein, right? It's original.
You would think.
BHT for freshness. I found this morning.
Cereal's not the healthiest thing. I actually I very rarely eat cereal because of some of the things that I've learned about cereal. Yeah.
Yes. Well, let's look at some health risks, right? So California has already said that BHA is a carcinogen. Because, you know, California, some of these labels are specific to California, but for the rest of the other states in the United States, we don't recognize the same things that California does. Well, California has already said that it's a carcinogen, right? And so the National Toxicology Program has said that it is a possible human carcinogen and that there is more than enough evidence in animal studies to suggest that it could cause cancer in humans. Okay.
Yeah, stay away, stay far, far, far away from the carcinogens, from all of it really, because it all just messes up the body and in different ways can lead to premature death, right? Like when we really break it down to the nitty gritty of it. So,
and in addition to that, it has developmental and reproductive, it's toxic to, your development and your reproductive system, right? And so in animal studies, because they do extensive animal studies, and in animal studies, it has caused an fluctuation in testosterone and underdeveloped sex organs. When they exposed the rodents to the BHT and the BHA, that's what they found. It's also classified as an endocrine disruptor, right? So
some more hormone
disruptions. That's the BHA and organ toxicity. So it's in addition to what we consume, it's also found in cosmetics, right? They use that in cosmetics. I'm not sure what the function is in cosmetics, but we put it on our skin and we consume it.
Because the skin actually is another way for us to consume things. We don't think about that. The cosmetics, or if you're ingesting something, it's going to absorb through that organ of the skin and go into your body that way as well.
That is so true. So it damages the kidneys, the liver, and the lungs. And so as a result, BHA and BHT are both banned in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, and Japan. But we consume them each and every day.
Good old US of A. Boy,
there are so many ingredients on
Except for California. California tries to do better.
They're trying. They're at least trying, but I just don't understand why the rest of the nation isn't picking up on what they're picking up, because they all have access to the same information.
I think people know. It's like with anybody, even on an individual level, you can know the information. Like Ness, you can say this is what the deal is. There's going to be people who are in our group, hopefully are are thinking a little bit differently because they're exposed to this on a daily basis, this information and these challenges to do things differently. But so we just going to go ahead and assume that they all doing what they need to be doing. But for everybody in general, right? Like we all know this information or have access to it if we want to. It's a quick Google search, right? Like, oh, what's happening? Even if we don't have the library of information that you have access to, from the pharmacy, it's like, okay, what is this? What is that? Look at the ingredients on the labels. We all know how to read nutrition labels now. Oh, what is this? And, so and we can still make choices that are not advantageous for us.
That's true.
So it's like, you want to be disappointed about it, but really all you can do is on an individual level, change your own habits, right? Yep. Change your own habits, starting with you. And then hopefully that starts to radiate outwardly, right? So like if you're watching this, and let's say you're the only person in your household that wants to change, because that's also an issue too. You're the only person, let's say we start with cereals and you say, you know what, I'm not going to eat cereals anymore because I know it's got this harmful ingredient and a lot of them do, or I'm not going to drink, soft drinks, that have this ingredient or whatever. And everybody else around you is still doing that. It's like, oh, mom, I want this, or dad, we're not going to eat that. And you're like, no. Hard no, because this is harmful and I don't care about how we are attached to it, right? Because that's really what it is too. It's an attachment on so many different levels, to these things that are harmful for us, but we've been reared up like that. Eating chips and eating cereals and drinking the cold drinks, and you know what I mean? Like we grew up like that. So it takes a lot on an emotional level. And even just on an actual physical like a dependency level, right? An addiction level, it takes for us to step back and really just peel apart those layers so we can get away from those harmful things and do better.
It's true. And I think that as parents, we are where it starts, right? And so we are the ones that do the grocery shopping. The children don't do the grocery shopping. And so if you're making these decisions, it's like, well, it starts and stops with you. So if it's like, okay, well, you won't ever see me buying this again, right? This Special J cereal. That's not happening, right?
Good for you. Good for you.
Now I know, to look, oh, okay. So now I know that when I see BHT for freshness, just remember all of the things, carcinogen development of your hormones. It disrupts your endocrine system, toxic to your organs. Yeah, just remember that. And I had this conversation, and it's a little extreme, but I had this conversation with my son, and I said, you know what? We need to start we as a society, we as a people need to start making better health decisions, right? What if there was a magic number that if you consumed this particular snack X amount of times, you were going to die? Say if you ate a snack 100 times, when you ate it the 100th time, you were going to die because of all of the things it's done to your body. Do you think people would still eat it? And he said, I don't know, probably. I said, but what happens when they're on the 99th time and they know, oh, wait a minute, if I eat that one more time, I'm going to die. I said that there is a magic number. We just don't know that magic number, right? If you're exposed to something that is harmful to you enough times, that there is a magic number. We just don't necessarily know it. We don't have it on paper. Right. So I said, just think of it that way. Just think of like, oh my gosh, one more, consumption of this product. That's the magic number. And then people will not be so quick to be like, oh, it's only one more bag of chips, or, oh, it's only a little bit of cookies, or, oh, it's only this, I only drink sodas twice a month. And it's like, okay.
Right, it's not that bad. It is that bad. It is that bad. That's what we're trying to tell you.
There is a magic number. There is a magic number. You just don't know it. There's a magic number for all of these things that are not so good for us. We just don't know it until it's too late. And the doctor's like, yeah, there's no way we can restore your kidneys at this point because they're so far damaged. Or, what, your cholesterol is out of control. We've tried statins. We've tried all of these approaches. You can only such and such. Or, what, your blood glucose is not being controlled. We put you on this kind of diet, or, you know what I mean? There's so many things that we are reactive to. But if we just take the proper steps, each and every day, like small steps, making healthier, conscious, food decisions, right? Reading the stuff that we're consuming, educating our stuff on what these fancy words are, looking at some of the research that we have access to, then you would be like, okay, yeah, I do have only one body. It is my responsibility to maintain this body. No one else is going to care for my body the way I care for my body. And if I mistreat my body, I'm going to know. I might not know tomorrow. I might not know the next day. But down the line, all of these mistreatments that I've done to my body, they're going to catch up. And my body's just say, listen, your liver's going to be like, listen, I've been pumping out these toxins. Your kidney's going to say, I've been filtering all this stuff, but we're tired.
Yeah, enough is enough.
Where's your heart is going to be like, listen, you haven't been active. And when you decide to get up, like now I got all this fat around me and it's harder for me to pump. Now the blood's not getting to where it needs to go to. There are consequences, but I digress. Our action steps for the week are to look at 5 products in the house, and you're looking for these ingredients. I'm going to put the list in the group for people to look for. And then once you locate them, because I'm pretty confident you're going to locate at least one of these ingredients somewhere in your household, you're going to just write down, journal how that makes you feel. If that's going to cause you to make any changes, if so, what changes? If not, why not? Like if you're not going to make any changes, why not?
Why not? What's holding you back?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that
I like it.
Yep.
I like it. Okay. Thank you for that information and for bringing that to our attention. I think we have a lot of work to do in terms of looking at those labels and starting to, because really what you did, you're talking about labels, but what you did is you are forcing us to come head to head with how we are eating and what we're consuming, right? And we even talked about the makeup, being a thing, what we're absorbing through our skin as well. And what that's going to do is challenge folks to change some things up. So now, it's the catalyst for habit change in this way that sets us up for longevity of life.
Right.
So you're planting the seed, but I know what you're up to. Coach Dr.
Yeah.
Ness, you ain't fooling nobody. I know what you're up to. I know what you're up to, but I'm down for this ride.
Yeah. Growing our own food. Watch. We are
I'm down. Listen, I'm down for it all. I'm down for it all. Listen, folks who are watching this on the replay, do your homework. Do your homework. If you are in our Dollar Growth Club group, do your homework. Okay. This is for you to better yourself, your life, your health and well-being. Do it. We're here to support you, us and all the coaches, even the coaches that are not here, our Fit New Life coaches that are not, having this conversation with myself and Coach Dr. Ness. And for those of you who are watching this on YouTube or wherever you're watching this and you're not currently in the Dollar Growth Club, click on the link in the description, dollargrowthclub.com, and join up. That's all I can say, because we have a little bit more access, a little bit more hand holding with helping you develop some of these habits, these life-changing habits, and life-saving information.
That's the key. That's what it really is. It really is. And you know what? Next week, I'm thinking I want to dig a little bit into the bioengineering of the foods. Right? Even this Special J cereal right here says it contains a bioengineered food ingredient. I wonder what that is.
Yeah, we could talk about that. The fake food, the fake seeds, the fake meats, the fake, the 3D printed. Oh, okay. We could talk about it.
Fake eggs, right?
The fake eggs. We could talk about all of that. And this is different. Okay, we're not going to do it right now. I was going to say, wait, hold on, just real quick before we get off. I was going to say that bioengineered food is different than replacement foods, right? So like, for instance, people that are going to do a tofu scramble instead of having like eggs, that's not what we're talking about.
It's so much deeper than that.
That's not what we're talking about. So yeah, okay. If that's what we're doing for Monday, I'm already excited for next week. Excited to do this homework. Actually, I'm gonna participate in this homework exercise as well, because I need to know what's in my cabinets.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
Labels and look for them, because you're gonna find them. I'm confident.
Sadly.
When you know better,
we're confident.
When you know better, you do better. Now we know what to look for, right? And now we know when we're in the grocery store, take that extra minute and just look. And last week we talked about, you just compare labels, right? If you're like, well, I normally eat this product. Well, this is right next to it. Let me see what's in this one. Sometimes look, not necessarily eye level, because eye level is what sells. Sometimes when you look a little higher up or a little lower, there's alternatives that are similar. Some are better for you, some are worse for you, but you don't know if you don't look. So that's
okay. And on that mic dropping note, drop the mic. Okay. All right. Enjoy your day. Thank you so much for today's conversation. It's been fruitful. And again, reminder, shout out to our Dollar Growth Club members. Do your homework. We're gonna be looking for it. We're gonna be looking for it in our group. NESS will put all of the questions and everything. We'll post it in our group. So you'll see that posted. And everybody else who's not a member, come join us. Just come over to this side of the family. We want to help you.
Yes, they miss out. It's like, somebody wants to do good, and we're so skeptical when we see that, right? We've been conditioned to not necessarily accept the help or the guidance when somebody's offering it, but this is one that is, like you said, it saves lives. It's life-changing in a good way. So just tap in.
Dollargrowthclub.com. All right, y'all, we out of here.